Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have this 13th meeting of the Council of Ministers in the Presidency of the Republic. For the international scene, World Health Organization announces that October and November will be harder in Europe. Welcome to our newsroom. The Head of State presides over the 13 sessions of the Council of Ministers under the chairmanship of His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, President of the Republic, Head of Government. The 13 sessions of the Council of Ministers took place on Tuesday, September 15th, 2020. The following texts were examined and approved. The Head of State Ismail Omar Guelleh during these sessions of the 13th session of the Council of Ministers first focused his intervention on COVID-19 in Djibouti. Then he looked at the other priority, namely employment and housing. Listen to the Head of State.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Notre Conseil des ministres aujourd'hui se déroule dans ce contexte-là de Covid.
Our Council of Ministers today is taking place in this context, but we must still tell the truth. We quickly realized the seriousness of this pandemic by acting containment measures to curb the spread of coronavirus and thus break the chain of community transmission. We also put in place accompanying measures to relieve our fellow citizens and businesses that were hard hit by the consequences of this global crisis. I would like to commend the general mobilization of our compatriots and their support for the difficult measures we have decreed. I would also like to congratulate the solidarity chain that was created on this occasion and which has demonstrated all the solidarity and generosity of our nation. Our joint efforts in the fight against the Russian corps have certainly brought us convincing results, but we must not diminish our vigilance in any way. Together, we will continue to mitigate the health impact and its economic and social consequences. This is our obligation. All the challenges we have taken up have made us even stronger and more determined to accelerate the structural transformation of our economy to make it more competitive and inclusive to achieve our goals. We will also continue to strengthen investments in the energy sector to make it more abundant and affordable. Our policy of expanding the social housing stock will continue unabated, and our commitment will have to resonate to ensure that all the Djiboutians have access to decent housing. We will be even more demanding in paying special attention to the development of human capital by activating, in particular, the implementation of new financing instruments and support professional training. The government will ensure the Djiboutian youth will be at the heart of the priorities of all our development strategies, and all measures will be taken to invest in each young Djiboutian by giving them the opportunity to achieve and flourish. The consolidation of economic development should have as its main goal the full development and well-being of all our citizens. Altogether, we commit ourselves to a new impulse of solidarity for the strengthening of the social fabric and for a better national cohesion. This is what I wanted to say to you as a prelude to our first council. Thank you.
Tuesday, September 15 marked the new political return to Djibouti today, a new stage that began this morning with the first Council of Ministers of the return. The session was marked by a short speech by the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh. The head of state took the opportunity to assess the government's actions against the spread of this global pandemic. On this occasion, the head of state praised the measures taken by the government, in particular the containment measures and the actions of solidarity toward the populations affected by the containment measures, but also the support to companies. The President of the Republic did not fail to praise the chain of solidarity that has been set up to support the efforts of the government. It can be concluded that the President of the Republic has declared himself satisfied with the management of this crisis, but at the same time he stressed the need to remain vigilant. Another point that was important to the President was the questions of energy. On this point, the head of state indicated that investments in this file must be continued for more abundant and more affordable energy. Housings must also remain at the heart of the government actions in order to guarantee decent housing for all. The first item on the agenda of the 13th sessions of the Council of Ministers was a draft law on the implementations of the Convention on the prohibitions of the development, production, stockpiling, and use of the chemical weapons and their destructions. Several questions were discussed in this Council of Ministers. Listen to the spokesman of the government, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sous la présidence du chef de l'État, son Excellence M. Ismail Omar Guelleh, s'est tenue la 13e séance du Conseil des ministres en ce mardi 15 septembre 2020. Le chef de l'État a fait un discours de rentrée politique dans un environnement marqué par la contamination au Covid-19.
Under the chairmanship of His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, President of the Republic, Head of Government, the 13th session of the Council of Ministers took place this Tuesday, September 15, 2020. The following texts were examined and approved. Presidency of the Republic, first question. Draft law on the implementation of the conventions of the prohibition of the development, production, stockpiling, and use of chemical weapons, and on their destruction. The Chemical Weapons Convention is the first multilateral arms control agreement that prohibits a category of weapons of mass destruction. It was signed on January 13, 1993. In Paris and entered into force on April 29, 1997. Our country signed it in 1993 and ratified it in 26. The convention obliges the states parties to adopt national implementation measures of a legislative nature to ensure the implementation of its provisions. The present draft law is taking to this effect, and its purpose is to punish violations of the provisions of the Convention on the prohibition of the development, production, stockpiling, and use of chemical weapons and on their destruction, and to establish a control regime for activities involving the use of chemical products, thus providing a framework for the development of the chemical industry for a peaceful purpose and in the service of socio-economic development. Thus, this text includes provisions on the elimination of chemical weapons, the control of central chemical products, international verification, national investigations, and sanctions in case of violation of the prescribed rules. The adoption of this bill aims to provide our country with national texts to take them into account in our positive law and strengthen our legal arsenal in this area. Finally, this text marks our country's willingness to comply with the obligations contained in the Convention. Ministry of the Budget, second question, draft law revising law number 53/N/14/7L on the organization of the Ministry of the Budget. This draft law revising law number 12/N/14/7L is intended to take into account the strengthening of the role of the Ministry of Budget in a changing economic environment and to affirm its role in public finance management with a restructured cabinet and a stronger expenditure control mechanism. The performance approach and guaranteed organizations of public expenditure is defined as a priority access in a context of austerity of public funds. It is within this framework that the creation of Internal Expenditure Control Department and the strengthening of central departments in the performance of their missions are planned. This new recognition is designed to achieve greater effectiveness and efficiency, better quality of service, and greater transparency and accountability in public management. The text also provides for a strengthening of the internal organization of the General Tax Department to be in line with the dynamics of the business environment in our country and the establishment of a Legal Studies Department. The new organization of the Ministry of Budget defines the will to respond to the current challenge of the socio-economic development of our country. Draft order on the allocation of plots of land to the Ministry of Equipment and Transport. The purpose of the draft order is to allocate to the Ministry of Equipment and Transport 3 plots of land respectively located, one at the port of Call of Djibouti with an area of 97.019 meters, the second located at the port of Tajora with an area of 71,726 meters, and the third at the port of Obokh with an area of 15,888 meters. These plots of land are intended for landing spaces and are put at the disposal of the Directorate of Maritime Affairs. Fifth question, draft decree granting the final concession and destruction of a plot of land. The purpose of the draft order is to grant, on the one hand, the final concession to the Port of Djibouti SA of a parcel of land located in the plateau with a surface area of 838,956 meters, subscribed to the land register as a professional concession, subject to land title number 15213, and on the other hand, by the destruction of the land title, a parcel of land with a surface area of 220,498 meters. Ministry of Labor in charge of the reform of the administration. Sixth question, draft law amending and supplementing law number 133/N/5/5th L of January 28, 26 on the Labor Code. The draft law modifies and completes the provisions of the Labor Code by inserting provisions relating to the annual declaration of the situation of the labor force. For decades, the issue of employment has been a major challenge for the public authorities. In order to overcome the lack of information on the labor market, it is necessary to provide the Ministry of Labor with social legislation capable of providing the statistical information necessary for decision-making. The draft law is intended to supplement Articles 205 and 289 of the Labor Code by inserting new provisions obliging all heads of establishments to produce an annual declaration of the labor force situation when they employ more than 11 workers, to produce at the General Labor Inspectorate before March 31 of each year. These new provisions will enable the Ministry of Labor to modernize the system of collecting labor market data and, in so doing, will reinforce its commitment to provide the competent service with appropriate labor market mechanism that will enable them to make data on the labor situation available to users. Seventh question, draft order fixing the content of the employer register. The purpose of the draft order is to determine the content of the employer's register in accordance with the provisions of Article 29 of the law number 133/N/5/5th. In fact, the employer who employs more than 11 workers must obligatorily keep a register at the place of operation, which is constantly updated, in which all the workers of the company are registered. In order to facilitate the control of the component labor services, this employer's register is divided into three parts. The first includes information on the persons and contracts of all workers employed in the establishment. The second part includes information on wages, leave, and work performed. And the third part is reserved for visas, formal notice, and observations affixed by the labor inspector or his delegate. Communication. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation spokesman for the government reported on his participation by video conference in the 154th Ordinary Session of the Arab League Council at the ministerial level held on September 9, 2020.
Draft decree on the appointment of accounting officers of public establishment. Listen once again to the Minister Mahmoud Ali Yusuf.
La deuxième question concerne un projet de décret portant nomination et permutation des agents comptables des établissements publics.
Third question, draft degree appointing accounting officers of public establishments. The following are appointed: Fatuma Roble Jama, Gulait Stadium in National Institute of Sports; Abdul Fattah Umar Farah, EDD; Abdul Wali Ahmad Wa'ez, CNSS; Ahmad Abdullahi Migal, ONED; Adu Ibu Adu, SID, SIAF; Ahmad bin Ahmad Ulahi, ONTD; Aisha Kabir, LCBE; Ismail Muhammad Kamil, University of Djibouti; Asiya Hamadou Ali, Waqf; Muhammad Idris Bashi, IND; Hassan Mu'min Dahir, Djibouti Telecom; Dash Suleiman, CMR; Muna Musa Muhammad, CNC; Abla Dahir Gedi, INEFIP and INAP; Ali Adabo Kako, RDDS; Fatuma Yusuf Arti, CFEF; Filsan Ilmi Okay, Arlos; Hasna Obse Lade, Djibouti Post Office; Ibrahim Ahmad Yusuf, Kripin; Idris Abse Hassan, FDED; Mahdi Adangeri, AID; Mariam Suleiman Sheikh, AMPH; Muhammad Abdullah Ali, Free Zone; Muhammad Abdul Qadir Sheikh, People's Palace; Salih Wais Ari, Djibouti Hospital; Saeed Dabar Hufre, INSD; Mukhtar Idris Gedi, Ali Sabih Cement Works; Muna Ahmad Dubad, ADR; Abdul Rashid Wa'ez Sigad, CERD, ISS; Usman Ahmad Farah, INSIE; Muhammad Ali Adan, Lana and SDSA; Saad Idris Suge, Ali Sabih Regional Hospital; Sagal Yasin Ahmad, ODDA; Muhammad Yusuf Amirne, Customs Fund, Youth Fund, Water Fund, Vocational Training Fund; Muhammad Ali Datbar, RTD; Saeed Abdullahi Miguel, SIHD and ADME; Siraj Muhammad Abdullah, Diwan al-Zakat; Nidal Ali Muhammad, OVD; Suleiman Ali Wale, ODPIC; Wahib Adan Atiye, ODDEG.
Djibouti condemned the continued attack by the Iranian-backed Houthi terrorist militia on the Yemeni towns of Marib, home to a large numbers of displaced persons. In a statement issued yesterday, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation denounced such an attack, citing its dangerous consequences that worsen the humanitarian situation in Yemen, and reiterating Djibouti's full support for all measures taken by coalitions to restore legitimacy in Yemen against the brutal practices of Houthi militia. Djibouti affirmed its full support for the efforts of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to end the conflict in Yemen through a lasting political settlement that would restore security and stability to Yemen and alleviate the suffering of its people. The Executive Secretariat for Risk and Disaster Management, with the support of ONARS and ONIAD, organized today on the site of the Amitié Dam tests on the 3 new motor pumps granted by UNDP to the Executive Secretariat for Disasters Management of the Ministry of Interior. The Minister of Interior, Mumin Ahmed Sheikh, Ms. Barbara Manzi, Resident Coordinator of the United Nations, Ms. Fatima Al-Sheikh, UNDP representative Mr. Ahmed Mohammed Madar, Executive Secretary of Risk and Disaster Management, and Mr. Mohammed Sheikho, Prefect of Artas region, were on the site. These testing operations of these 3 motor pumps. During his speech, Mr. Madar congratulated UNDP for the supplies for this large soundproof motor pump with a maximum flow of 475 meter cube per hour, which will further strengthen the national systems for flood response. About 50 technicians from the Directorate of Civil Protection, the Prefecture of Djibouti, ONARS, the Directorate of Sanitation, and the Executive Secretariat for Disaster Management have been trained on the proper use of these motor pump. Two technician representatives of the company that provided this equipment are on site to provide trainings and to facilitate the testing operations of this motor pump. It should be noted in passing that these three large motor pumps and their accessories cost 200,000 35 million of Djibouti franc. For his part, the Executive Secretary for Risk and Disaster Management, Mr. Madar, congratulates UNDP for the supply of this large soundproof motor pump. Listen to this report.
Nous sommes actuellement sur le site du barrage de l'Amitié.
We are currently on the site of the Friendship Dam to test the three high-capacity motor pumps granted by the government of Djibouti. These are high-capacity motor pumps with a maximum flow rate of 475 cubic meters per hour. This equipment will further strengthen the national device for the response to floods, especially for the city of Djibouti. I take this opportunity to thank our partners represented here by the resident coordinator of the United Nations system, who has kindly supported our national system for their response to floods. There are several institutions participating in these arrangements. You have civil protection. You also have the Sanitation Directorate, but we must not forget that the General Directorate of the National Police also participates in the National Flood Response Mechanism.
The chairman of the authorities of Port and Free Zone, Abubakar Omar Haddi, took part yesterday in an online seminar on investment opportunity in India and Djibouti. This webinar was attended by the Indian ambassador to Djibouti, Mr. Ashok Kumar, the governor of the central bank, Ahmed Usman, the president of the Djibouti Chamber of Commerce, Yusuf Musa Dawale, and the CEOs of the Bombay Stock Exchanges, Mr. Ashish Chauhan. This seminar opened on the importance of investment in a world governed by the globalization, an important theme where these panelists exchanged ideas and experiences in investment in key sectors of their economy. The CEOs of the Bombay Stock Exchanges highlighted the sectors that are driving the Indian economy. The Indian economy, he said, is best known for its information technology and business process outsourcing industries. The governor of the central bank, Mr. Ahmed Usman, focused his thought on the monetary instability of the Republic of Djibouti, the indexations of the Djibouti franc to the dollars, but also other money assets that competitive advantages, all with the political stability, a geostrategic position, a successful macroeconomic framework, a general business environment particularly attractive. In his speech, the president of the Free Zone mentioned several points, the importance of connectivity between India and Djibouti, the Republic of Djibouti being the point of entry to the African continent. He also stressed the reciprocity of eastern countries geographically, culturally, but also with India. The business and investment climate in Djibouti is of doing business. Djibouti climbed the 55th rank in the 2019 report. Djibouti is among the top 20 most reforming countries to facilitate business. Port and Free Zone of Djibouti opportunities for Indian businessmen. Djibouti is a trade gateway to the big market. Tax benefits and other incentives offered by DDIP and DFTZ for the creations of companies, tax advantage and other incentive offered by the DDIP and DFTZ for the creations of the companies. Djibouti Damerjok Industrial Free Zone, the main trust areas of the DDIFZ such as energy, petrochemical, iron and steel, port services industry, cement industry. A sensitization workshop on family planning will take place from 14 to 50 September 2020 in UNFD meeting room. This workshop was organized by the Ministry of Women and Family, financed by the European Union through UNFPA. On the first day, Monday, September 14, 2020, the workshop was co-chaired by the Secretary General, by the Acting Secretary General of the Ministry of Women and Family, and the Deputy Secretary General of the UNFD. The objective of this workshop is to train the presidents of the neighborhood councils of the municipality of Bulaus and Balbala, who will serve as community relays to support community sensitization in their respective neighborhoods. The director of the family, Ms. Fozia Ali, a specialist from the Ministry of Health, Ms. Ifrah Ali, the president of High Islamic Council, Mr. Abdurrahman Muhammad, and a religious in Mr. Adan Hamadou took part in this workshop. The operator expertise France in charges under the aegis of the ministry in charge of decentralization of implementing the support program for decentralization and local initiative organized today at INAP. A training session is on contractual financial management procedure for the team of the regional councils. The said training is in line with the recent workshop on the review and validations of the eligibility criteria for grant that will be given to the regional council under this program financed by the European Union, so that they can finance development investment in the region. This two-day training course, which is attended not only by teams from the regional council but also by senior officials from the ministry in charge of decentralization, is first step for the operator expertise France to present the procedures to be followed to enable the proper executions of investments in the region, as well as to start training the agents in charge of these executions in this procedure. The objective is for the latter to acquire sufficient capacity for the effective implementation of ADIL subsidies contracts through appropriations of its management tools. In the region of Tajura, the fight against smuggling and expired product has not been stopped. The elements of the Customs Brigade security forces are always vigilant to curb this harmful scourge is going to the national economies. The mobile teams of the Customs Brigade of Tajura, under the responsibility of Mr. Jani Shehem, in collaboration with the Gendarmerie of Tajura, proceeded to a vast operations of control and verifications in a store and shop in order to note the quality and the deadlines of the products sold to the customers and the product coming from contraband. This control has allowed to seize a large quantity of expired dairy product and cosmetics. At the same time, Tajura customs officers also seized contraband cigarette, cookies, and expired cookies in medicines unfit for consumption. The prefect of Tajura, Mr. Hassan Dabale, and the director general of the customs, Mr. Guled Ahmed Yusuf, congratulate the customs services and gendarmerie of the Tajura region for their vigilance and success in the fight against smuggling. A distribution ceremony of Diwan Zakat for orphans took place on Sunday mornings at the Al-Rahma Center in Dekhel, organized by Diwan Zakat Foundation. The latter proceeded to distribute the first installments of sponsorship contribution for the year 2020 to more than 83 orphan children benefit from a sum of 15,000 francs each. The director of the Diwan Zakat Foundation is the prefect, Mr. Yusuf Ali, the head of the Markaz Al-Rahma of Dekhel, and all parents of the students took part in this ceremony. A team from Creditor Union went to Duda and Damerjog to meet the member of the credit center. The main objective of the meeting was therefore to revitalize the credit centers of the Caisse Populaire d'Épargne. On the menu of discussions was the development of social links between the credit union and its member. The role of the credit center is the range of financial products, especially savings. Madina Salah Ali is the new president. The Djiboutian Federation of Dakhaitoriou held its elections General Assembly yesterday, Sunday, September 13, 2020, at the Gouled Stadium. The only candidate is in contention. Ms. Madina Salah was unanimously elected by all members of the federations and black belt of the next 4 years. On its in the presence of the judicial officer, Mr. Dabale Hassan, and the member of the Djiboutian National Olympic and Sport Committee, Ms. Saïda Sikiye. She was acting president. Until then, the new president and first woman in history is at the head of this federation intends to implement the program of consensus developed with all the actors. The popularizations of martial arts and at the national level remains the basis of its program. We are currently in a few regions and our goal is to reach all regions of the country. She promised the other essential points of the program is to make the national color shines on the African and international level. To do this, Medina Salah and her teams intend to strengthen the capacity of the national technical management. One thing is to participate in international competitions and another is to win medals. For the international scene, Coronavirus World Health Organization announces that the months of October and November will be harder in Europe. Listen for more detail.
Going to get harder in October and in November. We are going to see higher mortality, says Hans Klug, director of the European branch of the WHO, as the number of registered cases flies to the old continent, but with the number of deaths per day for the moment almost stable. This increase in the number of daily deaths will be due to the rise in cases due to the reception of the epidemic in Europe, according to the WHO. We are at a time when countries do not want to hear this kind of bad news. I understand, said the boss of its European branch, who, however, wanted to send a positive message that the pandemic will stop at some point.
This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.